Hello friends, welcome to EduTap and also welcome to the series which we have started for IBPS AF4 2020-21 exclusively for mains exam, that is agriculture subject. And today as part of that series we are going to do concept of the day on beneficial microorganisms. And here see friends, there are so many beneficial organisms of which we have already dealt with the beneficial insects in one of our live classes, and today as part of this series we are going to do what are the various beneficial microorganisms. We have only heard, most of the time we have heard that most of the bacteria, fungi, viruses, these are very harmful to us, but sometimes they might be useful in one form or the other, that we shall see. And this is lecture number 40. See guys, I request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel in case you are new here, so that you can get daily videos which will be helpful for the preparation of IBPS A4 exam, NABARD exam and various other relevant competitive examinations. And you can also join our Telegram channel so as to get daily updates and free content for your preparation. Guys, we want to so friends, before getting into course details and various other course offerings, let me take you through our success stories which we have achieved since the past few years. And these are the students who have achieved their dream of becoming AFO during last year, that is IBPS A4 2019 exam. And not only that, we have students in top 10 all India ranks as well, and we have few students in top 20 as well, and we have many students who are in top 50 all India ranks and achieved their dream of becoming an AFO. So friends, we have already launched our A4 2020-21 courses exclusively for mains exam, and I have already provided you with the links to demo courses as well as payment links for purchase of courses in the description box. You can go through that, and if you still have any queries related to course offerings, anything related to that, you can always write to us at hello@edutap.co.in, or you can visit our website for further details. See friends, before getting into the various types of beneficial microorganisms, let us first try to understand what exactly is a microorganism. Micro plus organism, micro very small or minute, sometimes even unicellular also, these are the organisms that are invisible to the naked eye, and they're also known as microbes or microscopic organisms, as they can be only seen under a microscope. And uh, they make up almost 60% of the earth's living matter. Whatever the living matter is present on this earth, almost of all that, more than or up to 60% is made up of these microorganisms which are invisible to humans naked eye. So friends, next we shall see what are the various types of microorganisms. There are various types of microorganisms, as we have already heard, like bacteria, fungi, viruses, protists, archaea. Bacteria, these are unicellular microscopic prokaryotic microbes that contain no true nucleus. I'm not going to get into crux of all these organisms. We are going to deal with uses, what are the beneficial microorganisms. So I shall just give you various details, so just to brush up your basics here. So fungi, these are unicellular or multicellular with the cell wall made of chitin, and these are heterotrophic and cannot synthesize their own food. Heterotrophism itself means they cannot synthesize their own food. Viruses, these are non-cellular microbes composed of protein, nucleic acid and lipids, and they can change their genetic structure also once they invade any cell, live cell. Protists, these are unicellular microscopic organisms that are neither plants nor animals. They might be sometimes autotrophic or heterotrophic. Archaea, these are the unicellular organisms which have structure very much similar to bacteria, and but their cell wall is different from bacteria and contains unique lipids that enable them to survive in extreme conditions. That is a basic difference between archaeas and bacterias. So friends, now how these microorganisms are useful to us. One, since we are doing agriculture part, first importance of microorganisms is their ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen, solubilize and mobilize phosphorus, that is solubilizing the whatever the phosphorus that is present in the soils or in its surroundings, and then mobilizing the same for the plant so that they can absorb them, making them absorb, I mean, in available form, produce antibiotics and disease suppressing molecules. These are the various uses of microorganisms as such. And owing to these properties, they are used in agriculture as biofertilizers and biopesticides like larvicides, etc. They are also important in the treatment of solid waste and sewage, wherein they decompose the solid waste to create the manure. They clean up the environment by degradation of several pollutants like pesticides, hydrocarbons, dyes and paints. They also help in enhanced recovery of oil and metals from low grade ores or aqueous streams. So friends, the best use of microorganisms or the beneficial microorganisms to agriculture, they are nitrogen fixing bacteria. That is the bacteria that is useful to fix the atmospheric nitrogen and then provide them to the plants. There are different groups of nitrogen fixing bacteria present in nature, or different types of nitrogen fixing microorganisms, and these may be broadly classified into three categories. One is symbiotic microorganism. Best example is rhizobium, where symbiotic relationship exists. Asymbiotic or free living, and associative symbiosis, and we'll see each of these in detail now. So friends, these are the various examples of beneficial organisms, and here for symbiotic relationship we can see the examples of rhizobium legume symbiosis, rhizobium parasponia, which is a non-legume. Sometimes rhizobium, few species of rhizobium, they can form a symbiotic relationship with non-legumes also. For example, rhizobium parasponia. Frankia and various trees like alder, casuarina, etc. Azolla anabina, Azotobacter paspalum notatum. So these are the various symbiotic relationship where there will be a host and an organism. The organism will get shelter and food from the host, and in turn these organisms provide nitrogen by fixing the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. Next is free living aerobic. These are free living, they do not form any relationship with any organism, and they are aerobic, they live in aerobic conditions like Azotobacter, Bejerinki, Cyanobacteria, etc. Next is free living anaerobic. These are all these require anaerobic conditions, less of oxygen, and they again fixed atmospheric nitrogen, Clostridium, D. sulfovibrio, Rhodospirillum, etc. Next is associative symbiosis. Here best example is Azospirillum, where it will have sometimes intimate relationship with the host plant, but it does not form any nodules or such, but sometimes it enhances the root hair growth. Thereby the the rhizosphere area will increase, and it helps the plant to absorb nutrients from uh, deeper parts and in uninvaded spaces also. So that type of relationship where there's an intimate relationship, as well as what you can say is with non-leguminous plants also, that is called as associated relationship, and example is Azospirillum, Acetobacter diazotrophicus. So friends, here comes few important beneficial microorganisms which we have already studied as part of the classification, and we shall see how they are going to help the plants. So here rhizobia, actually this is a rhizobia, it's a collective name given to the bacteria which forms from genera Rhizobium, Bradyrhizobium, Mesorhizobium, Cynorhizobium and Azorhizobium, and they generally have symbiotic association with leguminous plants to fix atmospheric nitrogen, and few exceptions are also there which we have already seen the examples. Next is Azotobacter. This again one is free living, that is asymbiotic or non-symbiotic. bacteria that fixes atmospheric nitrogen. And here the genus Azotobacter has 6 species which are useful for this purpose. One is Azotobacter crucoccum, Azotobacter winelandi, Azotobacter bejirenki, Azotobacter nigricans, and Azotobacter armeniacus, and Azotobacter paspali. And except the last one, which is a rhizoplane bacteria, the other members are generally soil borne and rhizospheric. See, rhizospheric, they the wherever the rhizosphere is the roots place where various chemical physiochemical reactions takes place, these all are they reside in that area. But this Azotobacter paspali, it resides in the rhizoplane area, which falls in the same root zone only, but where no physiochemical reactions takes place related to that root hair or root. Next, the potential of Azotobacter crucoccum and Azotobacter paspali as a biofertilizer for various non-legume crops. So here this is especially used for non-leguminous crops. Next is Azospirillum, which is one important example of associative symbiosis. And here this is recognized as a very ubiquitous soil organism capable of colonizing effectively not only the roots of wide variety of plants but also their above ground portions, forming apparently an associative symbiosis, as we have already discussed. And next is Acetobacter diazotrophicus, and here this one is gram negative micro aerobic nitrogen fixing microorganism, and is first time isolated from the washed roots and stems of sugarcane. And this is an endophytic diazotroph, that is they invade inside the cells, they and has been found mainly associated with sugar rich plants like sugarcane, sweet potato, Cameroon grass, sweet sorghum, and coffee. It colonizes all roots, stems, leaves of the host plants, thereby fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. Next is blue-green algae. These are again single-celled, or sometimes it consists of branched or unbranched filaments, and this again is a group of living organisms that fix atmospheric nitrogen, especially in rice fields, as I have already mentioned that Azolla and Anabaena symbiosis that we shall see here. Here Azolla is a small aquatic fern, and these are the various characteristics of that fern plant, with the leaf consisting of two lobes, a thick aerial lobe, slightly larger in size, and then the color, it's darker green on the upper side, and it has a blue green algal symbiont colorant also, and then this is a blue green algal symbiont, that is Anabaena azole. And here what happens is the high nitrogen fixing ability, rapid growth, high biomass accumulation and nitrogen content determines the potential of Azolla as a biofertilizer for rice. And here Azolla provides nutrients and a protective leaf cavity for Anabaena, and which in turn that Anabaena provides nitrogen for this fern. This is how the symbiosis is. And see the dorsal lobe, which is dark green in color, it has a central cavity. In that central cavity this Anabaena resides. That way it gives a protective shelter to Anabaena, this Azolla plant. So here the ability of Azolla to fix nitrogen is about 1.1 kg nitrogen per hectare per day. This is the capacity of that. And Azolla pinnata, Azolla caroliniana, Azolla rubra, Azolla folliculoides, Azolla nilotica, Azolla mexicana, and Azolla microphylla, these are the various varieties of Azolla that can be used for this fixing of atmospheric nitrogen, and thereby using it as a biofertilizer. So friends, see, this is the paddy crop, and as you can see it has waterlogged conditions, and Azolla needs the same. See the Azolla, the fern, it has been released into this, and see this is the one, it is residing here, and this in those the dorsal lobes cavities resides Anabaena, which will help in fixing the atmospheric nitrogen, and hence this azolla can be used as a perfect biofertilizer for paddy crop. So not only nitrogen fixing, they also help in phosphate solubilizing and mobilizing microbes. See, phosphorus, which is one of the important nutrient that is required for the growth of the plant, and we all know that there might be sometime huge reserves of phosphorus in the soils, but they might be in unavailable form. So now these microorganisms in the soil, they solubilize the unavailable phosphorus and make it available to the plant. Now these are called as phosphate solubilizing microorganisms, or PSMs. And a group of fungi associated with the roots of higher plants and mobilize the phosphorus from soil to the plant system. Now these phosphorus solubilizing microorganisms, they include variety of microorganisms like bacteria, fungus, actinomycetes form, and members of examples include Pseudomonas, Micrococcus, Bacillus, Flavobacterium, Penicillium, Fusarium, Sclerotium, and Aspergillus. These are the some of the phosphate solubilizing microorganisms. Few species of the same genera, they are infecting the plants, but few species of the same genera, they are helping the the same plants in solubilizing the phosphates and making them available to the plants. So friends, we have seen phosphate solubilizing microbes till now. Now we shall see what are phosphate mobilizing microbes. See, these include mycorrhizae. See, in the term itself says myces, fungi and rhizos roots. So they reside in the roots, and they have a mutualistic relationship with the root, with the plant or the host, wherein they are getting the carbon source from the host, and in turn they are providing these phosphates that are solubilized in the soil by getting them available to the plants. And generally, or categorically, these are in three distinct groups mycorrhizae. One is endomycorrhizae, ectomycorrhizae and ectoendomycorrhizae, based on the place they reside. Endo inside, ecto outside, and endo-ecto, they can reside both inside as well as outside. So of these three groups, endomycorrhizae, these are the ones that are very important and can be used as biofertilizers. Endomycorrhizae, the most common name we always hear is arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, or AMFs, and this includes glomus species, that is glomus mosaic, glomus aggregatum, glomus etunicatum, glomus deserticolum. There are various other species that come under this glomus species that are generally used as phosphate mobilizing microbes and best biofertilizers for the same. So friends, other than that, these microorganisms can also be used in microbial control or biological control in integrated pest management. Yes, and it includes virus, bacteria, protozoa, fungi, and as you can see, viruses that come under family Baculoviridae. Example, nucleopolyhedrovirus. Remember, NPV in short form it's called. These are the ones that cause disease in Lepidoptera larvae like Spodoptera species, Helicoverpa, that is armyworms, cutworms, etc., where this virus can be used as a biological control. They can be released, which attacks these pests, thereby the loss that is being created by these pests can be controlled in a very biological way, natural way, without harming the plants by using chemicals. That is the example of virus. Bacteria, here Metarhizium anisophilae, it is a fungus which attacks coconut rhinoceros beetle and it kills it. White muscadine fungus, Bevaria bassiana, it can act against Lepidoptera larvae, that is Spodoptera, Helicoverpa. There are various n number of larvae that come under Lepidoptera. So they can cause disease to them and thereby killing them. But this is sometimes dangerous to even silkworms also. Green muscadine virus, which we have seen. White halo fungus, Verticillium lacani. This is a fungus that attacks coffee green scale, thereby killing it, thereby reducing the losses to coffee plants. So likewise, these are the microorganisms. They can be used in biological control also. So friends, this was a question that was asked in AFO Mains 2014 exam. Which one of the following is the symbiotically nitrogen fixing bacteria? See friends, we have seen symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria, asymbiotic aerobic nitrogen fixing bacteria, asymbiotic anaerobic nitrogen fixing bacteria, and also we have seen associative symbiosis. So of all that and the options provided there, the correct answer was rhizobium bacteria, which is one of the examples, best examples for symbiotically nitrogen fixing bacteria. So friends, this is the question that was asked in my last session. What is ARCA microbial consortium that helped farmers to reduce the usage of fertilizers by 25% in some of the vegetable crops? See, this ARCA microbial consortium is a carrier based inoculant which contains nitrogen fixing, phosphorus and zinc solubilizing and plant growth promoting microbes in a single formulation. So friends, today we have dealt as part of beneficial organisms. We have seen nitrogen fixing organisms, phosphorus solubilizing and mobilizing organisms also we have seen. Other than that, we can even find zinc solubilizing bacteria also, that microorganisms also, and plant growth promoting microbes also. So this ARCA microbial consortium is, it contains all these in a single formulation, rather than applying nitrogen fixing bacteria, phosphorus solubilizing and metabolizing bacteria or microorganisms, and growth promoting bacterial inoculants all individually. If the farmer applies this one consortium, all is settled. So here this, it can be conveniently used either through soil seed treatment, soil application, through water, or through nitrogen nursery media like coco peat. In coco peat, one can mix this inoculant and then the plants can be planted. So here this was developed by IIHR, that is Indian Institute of Horticulture Research, and they have already almost supplied it to more than 15,000 farmers through various KVKs, and they have seen very good results, and they have seen that at least the fertilizer usage was reduced by 25% in various cases, and which is definitely a plus point to the farmers. The usage is decreasing, but yes, the yields are increasing, and then this is one best way of promoting organic farming. So friends, here comes today's homework question. What is the example for zinc solubilizing and plant growth promoting microbes? See friends, as part of today's session, that is beneficial microorganisms, this question is being asked so that we can touch upon these topics also, and we can have brief discussion in our next session. Thank you very much friends for your patient listening, and if you have any queries regarding to anything, kindly write to us at hello@edutap.co.in, or you can give us a call at 8146207241.